All right. So, again, I am Rachel Rhodes, and I actually hit Diamond this past November. It was a really thrilling month. I'm going to do my best to honor all of you where you are. So, maybe you've only had a starter kit for a month. Maybe you've actually been doing this as a business for years. And I'm really going to try and wrap tonight around you, honor you where you are, and we're going to talk about ways that you can best share with people using classes. So I love this series because you heard from Marissa and Kelsey and Tracy, all different ways of sharing. I actually built my business primarily with classes. So I was in people's homes week after week. I had classes online. That's how I built my business. It was primarily on Facebook through my Facebook usage group. And so I'm going to give you a couple tips of things that I've learned along the way. And then we're actually going to be scheduling classes tonight, working on promoting them, and we're going to talk through execution. So I'm going to give you a couple tips there. But first, let me just talk about some quick things so you can kind of understand why classes are important. So they're important because they provide education, whether that's like baseline education and no one's like, they don't even know what oils are. It is important that you at least do that first. It's important for ongoing education. So maybe you're offering classes outside of an introduction. I will tell you though, from the time I started sharing all the way up till the silver rank, I was very much introduction to essential oils was my focus. And the more people that came on my team, there's more people wanting to share. So it was very much a focus for me. My upline was running lots of fantastic classes outside of that I was able to plug people into. But you can, if you're finding that maybe you're attracting people in other ways and they're buying kits, guys, at the end of this, like the point is to bring people into our community. So there are other ways outside of the intro classes to do that. And we'll talk about that this evening. Classes also build community. It helps people feel a part of something. So they're part of, whether they're at your house and they're sitting next to someone they just met, or they're online and they're commenting or answering questions or asking questions and having questions answered by somebody else. It's creating that community. It's also strengthening your culture as a team, whether it's 2 people around your table or 10. The fact that you're together and you're learning together, you're asking questions, it is going to create this atmosphere and this culture that really you can't find anywhere else outside of being with each other. At a lot of these events or these classes, people would just start talking, and outside of me who was teaching the class, they would learn about another product or they would learn about another testimonial. So there's so much power in that. The same goes for online events. And then I'm going to tell you guys something. I've been reading a book called Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, and she is rocking my world right now. She went into depth basically saying that when people say they're exhausted, I mean, how many of you guys have been like, I'm exhausted? When people say they're exhausted, the root of that, and she has data to prove this, is loneliness. And I thought, oh my gosh, how many people on my team, how many people in my life have I heard that from? So giving people a space and a place to belong is so huge. And we're going to touch on that a little later when we talk about some other, the third class that I'm going to want you to book this evening. All right. So what do these classes look like? You all might have very different ways of building. While mine was in-person classes, we heard yesterday from Marissa. She's built solely on Instagram. I know Tracy built online, and she's had some in-person stuff as well. So that could be, if we're talking online, that could be Facebook events with posts. That could be a Facebook Live. So whether that's a Facebook Live on your wall, on your personal wall, or within an event where you're just talking and people are interacting while you're talking. And then with those guys, you can upload those to YouTube. So think about that. That is something to remember. Anytime you do a Facebook Live class, you can then upload it to YouTube, and it can serve your team for years to come. Or it could be a Zoom class. So you could have people across the country and you can hop on a Zoom like this. This is actually free. It's a free platform. And you have up to 40 minutes free. You get kicked off and you just have people sign back in. Easy peasy. So you can actually bring people together from across the country. And that's something, if you sign someone up and they have family that they're wanting to have a class with, offer that to them. Say that you'll do that for them. And then there's also IGTV. So from what I understand, IGTV is similar to YouTube. In person, that's going to look like maybe it's your house. Maybe it's a new member's home wanting to host. I know when I started, I was like, yo, mom, by the way, you're having a class at your house. By the way, you're inviting your friends from your church. Okay, cool. Like, if you have people like that in your life, if you have sisters, sister-in-laws, really close friends, a mom that you can just be like, hey, would you like to host a class that just, it's supernatural for you to even ask that? Tap into that for sure. Let's see. Whether that class is at a coffee shop, a brewery, or a wine room. So before we get into working, this is where I'm going to give you guys some ideas and some inspiration. If you have never taught a class and you're like, what is she talking about? I just got my kit. I just want to learn how to tell people about oils. And we're going to talk about scheduling a class. I'm going to want you to schedule a class in March, okay? And we'll do that in a second. But here are some ideas of how you can go about doing that. So if it's not in your house, if it's not a coffee shop, my great dear friend Christina Keeling at our leadership retreat gave us this idea of where she has actually, breweries are propping up everywhere. She has gone into breweries and a lot of them have an event schedule, and she'll say, hey, I'm willing to teach a class here and bring my people here and bring business to your establishment. What night is best for you? Like, what night would that serve you? And a lot of times they will put you on their events calendar so that they are then promoting your event on their calendar, because they may ask you, well, hey, could we open this up? So think about spaces in your area that might do that. It does not have to be a brewery. Today, there is a wine bar. It's a cute little wine tasting room. I don't drink wine, and there's people in my life that don't drink, guys. So you have to be, just be mindful of that. It can be a tea room, whatever. But I went in there today and I told her, I said, hey, I want to bring value to your establishment, but at the same time, I know that you could probably fill a need for me. I have 3 small kids and my classes are outgrowing my house. What night of the week? Because I don't want to have to pay. Like, what night of the week would add value to your establishment where I could bring people in? Where would we sit? What would that look like? And before we knew it, I had booked, we're going to do it every month, the first or the second Tuesday of every month. It just so happens that it falls right before St. Patrick's Day, and she is going to do some specials for us. I'm going to have little green rollers. And so now I've turned this class into something so fun that I'm not having to pay for, but I'm bringing people into her establishment on an otherwise slow night. Some other ideas, and then we're going to get to work. Lunch and learns. Do you know people, if you don't work during the day, do you know people who have lunch breaks and lunch rooms who might have friends that would want to hear about this? They're not having to go anywhere. They're not having to get a babysitter. They're not having to clear their schedule. What that looks like, you roll in there with your starter kit, you bang out a class, and I have a script. I'm going to post it here in a second so you can have that script in 45 minutes, and then you're out of there. What does that look like? I did a doctor's office last week. Actually, my great friend, I think she's up here, Kathy Caraway, scheduled that, and we did that together, and it was super successful. Is that something you could do? If you work during the day, maybe it's something you do if you have friends that work at a hospital on their break at night. Wrap it around, let's see, teachers and classrooms, they're already there during the day. And if you can schedule a class in a teacher's classroom and you tell them that you'll bring the snacks, some oily snacks, and the teachers can just literally walk down from their classroom, they're already there and you're going to feed them, maybe have like a little oily make and take. And I would definitely suggest keep it under an hour. That's another idea. Ashley, my great friend and mentor, amazing upline leader, everything I say is from her, pretty much. She is like the master at this. I almost feel like I've taken what she's probably going to talk about, but she has taught me and modeled this so well. We did a baby boutique where we said we can add value and attract people to your store by offering 10 ways of using essential oils with your baby. Well, guess what? People were sitting in that store. They shopped afterwards, and we taught those 10 ways straight from the starter kit. So here's what we're going to do starting right now. We have a promo going on. You sell 2 kits by Monday, you are going to get a bottle of free sensation. So I'm going to challenge you. I want you to do a class between now and Monday. Don't freak out. Get creative. What does that look like for you? Is that a pop-up class where you post up at a Starbucks or a coffee shop tomorrow or Sunday and you create a really awesome post with a picture of you and a cup of joe saying that you're going to be there for the next amount of hours? Is that you getting together with a girlfriend and doing something online? Is that you, and I've done this probably 3 or 4 times, doing a Facebook Live on your personal account, maybe with your husband. I was super nervous. If you guys are nervous to go live, have someone sit with you. Have your sister, have a friend, have a cousin, have a mom, have your husband sit next to you. Maybe someone that has some comic relief so it's entertaining when you get nervous. Does it have to be the class? No. Again, 10 tips, 10 things that help me get my kids through the winter. And then just all those 10 tips can come from the starter kit. Who's your audience? If your audience are their moms, wrap those 10 tips around the moms. Think about, there's so many other things that you could do with the kit outside of following that script. And then when you do this, and then we're going to get started, I want you to make this effective. Ashley taught me this tip. If you're going to go live on Facebook at like 7 o'clock at night, think about your audience. If it's a busy mom, they got to get their kids into bed, right? Get them in bed, and then they can sit down with their phone or their computer. Do a teaser. So you would do a teaser post on your Facebook, whether that's an hour before or the morning of, and just say, hey guys, I can't wait. I'm going to pop up here later, and I'm going to give you 10 ways that I have helped my kids through this germy winter. Whatever. Like, write it in your own, make it the most non-salesy thing, like you're talking straight to your girlfriend. And then have a picture of you, your face, you smiling, not a graphic, you. People want to see you. They want to know that they're plugging into you later, and they want to be excited. What feeling do they get when they see your smiling face, right? So do a teaser before you do that. Okay, we're going to start working. This first session, I want you to think about and plan and build out what that looks like in these next 3 days. Is it an online Facebook event? Is it an Insta story? Is it going live on Facebook? Is it pairing up with a friend, doing a pop-up class? The second thing I want you to do, I want you to book a class in March. So all my bookings, I will do the middle of the month. So it's the middle of February, I book for March now. Because once March 1st hits, you've lost those first 2 weeks. So build out your plan for these next 3 days. How are you going to do that? How are you going to teach this class and educate your audience? The second thing, I want you to schedule, even if it's your first one, I want you to schedule that class. Pull out your calendar. What does it look like? Is it in your home? Is it at a coffee shop? Is it, are you going to look at different venues in your area? The other quick tip, and then we're going to start, I'm totally rambling, but I just have things on my mind I want to tell you. You can always pair with somebody. Let's say you have a friend that's really talented. My friend Christina was saying that she paired with, they did like a brides-to-be open house. They had, one of her friends was a hairdresser. She taught quick updos. The other friend was a florist. She taught people how to make bouquets, the brides how to make bouquets. And then she did, I think it was like, aromatherapy for the day of your wedding, and then she did like little bridesmaids gifts. So do you see how the three of them work together? Do you have people in your life you could do something like that with, that you could combine talents with, and then you would then get their audience as well? All right, you ready? 10 minutes. We're going to do this. Come back. I want to hear some things that you've got scheduled, how you're going to execute this, and then we're going to talk about promoting these events in the next session after that. Awesome. All right. And go. All right. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? I want to see what you have in store for this weekend. So type and let me know some ideas. If you have any, like, even any objections, let's kind of talk through that too. And maybe I can help you out some there. What are you guys going to do this weekend to put this kit in front of people in an authentic way? Are you going to do that through Insta stories, or where are your people? Are they on Facebook? Is it a pop-up class somewhere? Zoom 101. Nice. Chelsea said she's going to do Zoom 101. So that's this platform. She's going to do a 101 class. That way I bet she can probably invite people from all over. And then she's going to do a live making soap on her Facebook. So that's going to create interest and probably a good lead in to her Zoom. Victoria says doing 10 tips to survive kids who don't want to sleep Sunday night. Awesome. There's a lot. Now we have peace and calming in the kit. Heck yes. Between peace and calming and lavender, even valor. Lindsay did some stories on Instagram about the kit and enrolled one person. That is awesome, Lindsay. And so we learned yesterday how to do that, right? So I love this sharing series. You guys are going to learn all different ways. Soap making and 101 with a new member on Sunday. Awesome. So much good activity. Okay, did any of you guys schedule a class for March? Here's the thing, y'all. Sometimes you don't know how it's going to happen. You might be shaking in your boots. You might be like, I don't know what this looks like. Just get it on the calendar, because then that holds you accountable. Another trick with that is, once it's on the calendar, go ahead and create the event, because once you start to see bodies saying going, that makes it real. And then you step up to that position. Planned out Instagram stories for winter wellness. Oh, that's so good. That's relevant to what's going on right now, guys. That's so good. That's what people are wanting to hear about. Got 3 classes in person for March in our hometown. Yes, yes, yes. Again, here, I'm going to just tell you, I am a blue personality, so I don't really like to schedule things, but I have, and this is a good tip, if you have a friend that is doing this with you, I have 2 friends, and in the middle of every month, they're probably up here, we get together, whether it's on FaceTime, and we book out the following month, and we do it together because it's an accountability thing. And that way I know the first 2 weeks of March are booked out. Awesome. Okay. So now let's talk about promoting. So you have your stuff in the calendar, whether it's for you or someone in your downline, and let's talk about what that looks like to promote. So most of us, and how I've always done it, has been a Facebook event. To me, that's easier to manage. It's easier for me to actually keep it live. And by that, I mean, it's ideal to do at least 2 weeks out. And that gives you an opportunity to go in there each day, every other day with a tip. You're keeping people engaged. So you never want to create an event and then just leave it, like, ever. What some of the things that you can post? I'm just trying to think of some of the things I've done. I have done tips about young living. I have done, people are very visual, guys. Any pictures that you can do. I've done pictures of rollers. If I do, like, one time I've done a salt bar at a class where people will get to make their own bath salts at the class. And so I took a picture of that. And so that my classes after that I decided to do that with, I was able to show it to them and promote that. You could do a little video of your diffuser running and talk about the diffuser blend that you're going to have when they come over, but just that visual of seeing the diffuser, maybe giving a little tip about what that is. I think a lot of people think it's just something that puffs out fragranced smoke. But the whole idea, guys, is you're whetting their appetite. You're giving them teasers. And so the people that are maybes, it creates a FOMO for them. Yeah, it creates FOMO. So here's how you're going to promote outside the event. The more time that you have to promote an event, the greater a success it will be. It takes people an average of 14 exposures before they're like, oh, this might be something cool. Isn't that crazy? So to give you an idea, so Ashley is my enroller, Ashley Diet. You'll hear from her tomorrow. And I literally watched her drop nuggets in her newsfeed probably, I don't know, a couple months. But the times that she was very consistent with it, she then invited me to a class and I was wet behind the ears and I was like, sure, yes, let's go. She had to follow up a couple of times with me, but it was that consistency of promoting and mentioning. So some of the things that I've done, again, the same thing that you're doing in that event, you could do on your news feed. And I learned this from Lindsay. I probably learned this from Lindsay, Tracy, and Ashley. When you do a post on Facebook or Instagram that is like really engaging, like think of something that's super engaging, maybe you're asking people to comment below that, your algorithm is so high, so the post you do right after that is going to get lots of views. So keep that in mind. When you do a post that's high interaction, post something oily behind that is adding value to your person that is reading that. You always want to add value. It is not a graphic of the starter kit. It's not a graphic saying, come to my class. Here's my link. It is literally adding value. Hey, it's a picture of maybe the lavender and like my kids sleeping, or I just love having the option of putting this on the bottoms of their feet or adding this to their bath at night and my kids are snoozing away. Whoever posts on that or whoever likes that, I'll message them. And I'll just say, hey, how are you doing? Whatever. Opens that conversation. And then, boom, I have something to invite them to. So if someone posts or asks about, I don't ask about it, I'll message them. And then I have a class. I have something scheduled to invite them to. So it makes it easier for me to promote. When you have a Facebook invite, I do not mass invite. How personable is that? When someone invites you to something and you see 874 people are invited and you're like, awesome, right? We're all invited all the time to so many different things. So I loved what I learned. I actually learned this from Stephanie Mora, and okay, my kids are in here. Yay. Hey, Nick Rhodes. Sorry, guys. It's your verbiage. So reach out to people individually. And what that looks like, you can craft something that is a copy and paste, but you always want to sandwich it with personal. And so what I do is I'll say, hey, Anne, it was so good seeing you last week. I really enjoyed catching up with you. Thank you so much for helping to watch my kid the 5 minutes so I could use the bathroom. And here's some really great verbiage. My team probably turns blue in the face. Hey, I was thinking of you. If you can lead with that, I was thinking of you. And then here's another great verbiage tip. It's actually from Phil Jones. He's author of a book called Exactly What to Say, and it's fabulous. I was thinking of you. I'm not sure if this is for you, but, and then you invite them to your class. I'm having whatever you want to call it, a one-on-one workshop. I was thinking of you, not sure if this is for you, but blah, 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 blah. It gives them the opportunity to make the decision. And if they say no, it's fine. You're still loving on them. It's a personal invite. So it's not this blanket thing. It's a personal invite. You've told them that you're appreciative of them watching your kid, so you've made that personal connection. Then you've gave them the option of saying or deciding whether or not it's for them. Who you invite to your classes. So I call it the A list and the B list. And so your A list are people that have expressed interest. So people that may have, like 3 weeks ago, said, hey, what are you rolling on? Like, what are you rolling on your body? Boom. That's someone who's like curious. Maybe it's someone who's commented on your diffuser. Maybe it's someone who has commented on one of your oily posts on Instagram or Facebook. Those are like A-list because they're curious. You've had a conversation about it. So when you ask them, hey, I was thinking of you. I know you had asked about lavender. Here's an awesome opportunity to just come and hang with us and blah, 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 whatever. The B list are people that you know could use the oils. And so the way I craft that conversation in a message is, hey, I was thinking of you. I don't know if this is for you, but I remember we had a conversation, or I remember seeing you post on Facebook that Johnny is having just some struggles in school with maybe some confidence, and maybe he's not sleeping at night. And I don't know. I was just really thinking of you. And guys, this could even be a voice text in Facebook Messenger. So they can hear your voice. They can hear the emotion in your voice, and they're making that connection of, hey, she like voice messaged me to invite me to this thing. She was thinking of me. She was thinking of Johnny. And so it becomes way more personal. And so that's kind of like my A list, B list. So again, the multiple exposures on your regular page. And then, as I have been taught, if you're teaching a 1-hour class, you should spend twice as much promoting it. So yes, you're going to be promoting it a lot more than being in that one class. Like, it is work on the front end, but it's going to be worth it once there's butts in the seats. So this second stretch, I want you guys to make your A list and your B list for the events that you have scheduled in March, of who you're going to reach out to once this event is created. Write their names down. You could even work on writing your little blurb using the verbiage that I told you about. And then strategically invite people. You're not going to want to just blanket and send everybody that link to the event. Again, you're going to want to be strategic in who you send it to. So let's work on that. Let's make that list and maybe write that blurb out. Again, you're going to want to add something personal on the top when you talk to them. Yeah. Okay. We're going to take some time to do this, and I'll see you back here in about 8 or 9 minutes. All right. That's exciting. Lindsay just said one of her prospects from a previous power hour is signing up. Don't you love these? It's like focus time to work and make stuff happen. Okay, so we have a plan in place for this weekend to take advantage of the sale. We have a plan in place to take us into next month. And scheduling your class, how to promote your class, and just a little bit on execution of your class. So, whatever that looks like, if you're in a children's boutique, or you're sitting at a coffee shop, or you are at your house, there are things to remember, and that is that you are going to be the thermostat for that environment. And this is something so interesting, but I learned this just by observing my upline, which is Ashley. Every time I walked into her home or wherever she was for a class, she set the tone. So it was upbeat. It was speaking to everyone, engaging everyone. She made people feel welcome. Remember, guys, people remember how you make them feel. That first impression, even if you're meeting them for the first time or someone's bringing a friend, you can be introverted as all get out. It's okay. But still making that effort to be the thermostat of that environment and keeping it warm and welcoming. And then the second tip would be to study the script. I know Ashley has talked about, she watched April Pointer's class literally over and over and over and over. You can look at the script. The one that I have, it's bulleted so that when my eyes dart down, I don't have to sift through a bunch of words. There's parts that I've highlighted. There's things that I have personally written in the margins that I have found very valuable for myself that I feel like someone else would find in value. And even 4 years later, I'm always holding a script because I want people to see how simple it is. I've even handed my script over to the hostess after the class, and to show that, hey, read over this. The next one we do, we're going to co-teach, and then you are going to be awesome because you'll be able to do it from here. So you want to make that duplicatable. You don't want to know everything, even though you might know a lot. And if you're just getting started, this is me saying there's a script. You can rehearse and review it, and you are going to be amazing. Because guess what? You're going to know more than the people coming to your class. And so that's just something really, those are like the two things I would say to remember. You can have water with glasses, and I like to have citrus oils out, and then one oily treat. So that could be peppermint brownies or orange brownies. It could be lemon and hummus dip. I'm just kind of keeping it simple. Really, you're the one that creates the environment. Okay. The last thing that I did want to talk to you guys about really quickly, so you can use this as a prospecting tool. This is something that I'm trying new for the month of March. Again, this book is rocking my world. Dare to Lead. And guys, Young Living sent this to me after Platinum Retreat. Isn't that awesome? And they talked about the power of play and the power of rest. And there's something I want to read to you really quick. Play shapes our brain, fosters empathy, helps us navigate social groups, and is at the core of creativity and innovation. And so that got me thinking, and I'm like, I am going to have a play date next month. So think about this. You have your classes, right? And then we're always trying to how do we meet new people? How do we start booking play dates? So next month, I have 4 now that I'm going to do. To give you an example, there's something called AR Workshop where we are, and you can go in and make stuff. And so I've booked out a date. I'm creating an event, and it's a play date for my team, but not just for my team. I want them to bring their friends because I don't want it to be anything oils related. I want it to be like a community. I want to build culture. I want to have not sideways. I want to have lots of conversations with people. I want to get to know people. I want them to get to know each other. I want them to know they have each other outside of me. And then these new women that we're bringing into the fold, these new women bringing into the fold, I want them to see how amazing we are, how uplifting and encouraging, and what kind of culture we are as a team. Non-oils related, just fun and play date. I mean, guys, can you think of 5 friends that would want to come and like build signs with you? And oh, you'll have some of your other friends there too. Hello. And then guess what? They might link up with my friend Michelle over here, who's painting a really awesome thing, and they get to talking and they become friends. And you've just kind of created this sideways community outside of oils. And your next class, who do you think is going to want to come? Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe this is totally something this week I was just like, so take that little nugget with you. Even if you just move somewhere, you be the person that creates an environment, that creates enough space, that creates an event outside of oils. Be in charge of that. And then as you meet people, invite them into that. And then that will trickle and overflow into your business. And then you're also creating a space for your team and a place for them to come together and be together outside of oils and outside of work to kind of cultivate that creativity and that inspiration. So just another little nugget that I'm just super excited about and seeing really how that helps to build our community here. Do you guys have any questions? We have 4 minutes. I hope that you got some things booked. I hope you got some nuggets of wisdom. I'm happy to answer anything regarding this power hour that you may have, anything regarding classes. I'll just give a couple minutes for anybody to ask in the chat. I'm going to scroll up here. So it looks like some of you guys have already been scheduling fun things. Lindsay talked about when people come into your home, have all your oils out. So if they've just been exposed to the starter kit, if you have a shelf in the back, bring all those oils out. You want people in there sniffing and smelling and asking questions about those oils, because I promise you they will become quick wish list items for their ER. So that's a great tip. Best product placement ever. Kids play dates. That too. Yes, Lindsay, kids play dates. That's a great, there you go. That's a great class or prospecting and class idea. Okay. Traveling to teach. Talk traveling to teach. Chelsea, give me a little more on that. Maybe that's, I don't know if that's, how do you suggest changing up invites? We don't really get to talk to people in between the last invite that they couldn't make the event. Okay, so if someone wants to come to a class, but they can't make it, I immediately, like they can't come, and I say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm totally going to miss seeing you. I am available next week on Tuesday and Wednesday at 3:00 if you want to meet me at Gather. I'll buy you a cup of coffee, and we can kind of like chat these things out. I'll bring the oils from the class so you can smell them, and we can just kind of have like a get together over coffee. Which day works best for you? They told me they wanted to come, but they couldn't come. And so in scheduling classes, guys, when you are talking to people, you know, like even if it's someone who just got a kit and you're talking about it, maybe they're saying their mom has a question about something. I always say, would you like me to teach a class for you? Would it be easier if I just taught a class for you? And then they're like, yes or no. And if they say yes, then I immediately am like, okay, what days are good? So today in that wine tasting room, when she said yes, I said, okay, what days in March are good? I opened up my phone and she said, we can do this day or this day. I said, awesome, put me down for this day. I'll be in touch this week to follow up. Boom, done. Because this is not at the forefront of their minds as much as it is yours. They need you to lead them into that decision. And guys, they will be grateful that you did that because it's less thinking that they have to do. I'll do one more question. Let's see, or a couple more. I have a couple minutes. How to encourage people to invite well if you're traveling. Oh. Okay. So Chelsea talked about if you're traveling to teach a class, ooh, that is a time investment, right? So she was saying how to encourage your people to invite well. So there's a little something called edification. Not sure if you guys heard about it, but if you have someone traveling in or if you are traveling in, edification is huge. The way that they speak about you to their people is going to make such a big impact as to how many people are in those seats. If they're saying, I have this girl coming in and she's going to tell us about oils, or I have this incredible, let me just talk about Chelsea for a minute. She is incredible. She's been using oils for 3 years. She's been to the farm. She has been immersed in the complete process. She's incredibly knowledgeable. She's driving all this way, and she's going to pour into us and tell us all about her experiences with these 12 oils and how they have impacted her family, maybe telling a little bit about her story. So teaching your people to do that, I mean, who do you want to come see the person that's like, hey, I have this friend coming to teach, or do you want to come see the person that is the second option B? Teaching your people to edify. So model that for them so that they can see what edification looks like. I know that's kind of hard to ask them to do, but it is way more impactful. And then you can in turn edify them to their people. And that is so powerful. Do it all the time. And if I'm traveling, guys, I don't put pressure on the host, but I say, and again, Ashley, I just love her. How many times have I referenced her, guys? I'm like, she's awesome. I traveled once to Philly and there was one person, and like I was in the car for 13 hours. It was awesome. It was a great learning experience, but they have to show me with actions they're ready for me to come. And then I like to be a part of their Facebook event. Once I've committed, I commit and like I will go. But just really helping people to be a part of that invitation process and being kind of close tied to them through that process. Given some of the tips that I've already given you about personally messaging people, the verbiage that's being used. Yes, edification always wins. Lindsay does such a great job at this and teaching on this. You can never over edify people. And that's basically where you are publicly building people up to their peers. And then they will in turn do that with you. And guys, does our culture do that naturally? That's so countercultural. So it's so refreshing to see women and people literally building each other up, and it's attractive, and people want to be around that, and they want to be around you when that's happening. Awesome. Thank you so much for being with me. I am so honored that you took this time out on a Friday night, the night after Valentine's Day, to be in this space with me and to learn with me. I'm so encouraged, and I can't wait to hear about these classes and all the things that you're going to do this weekend. I hope to see some of your Facebook Lives and Insta stories through the weekend. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. Good night.